In a recent episode, I was struck by Kathryn's comments about economists falling into left or right camps on issues like the child tax credit. I'd love to hear more about how these camps form, especially, particularly among economists with PhDs, not to be confused with those social media influencers who play economists online. I'm assuming these folks all go through the same kind of rigorous programs, study the same foundational literature, and examine the same data. How do they wind up on opposite sides of politically charged issues?
Well, the first part is the hardest part to understand, is that in addition to being economists, we are sometimes human beings.
What?
But I think even for economic issues, I've said so many times on this show, what I believe to be true is that when it comes to economic policy and choices, it's not about there being a winner. It's about the trade-offs and risk that are palatable to you. And so I think where you get camps in terms of economists, it part comes from what are the trade-offs that you value, or what are the risks that you are willing to take relative to others. And so, you have two economists look at a set of data around a child allowance. You give cash to every kid in the U.S., some amount. If you are a conservative economist, you're going to look for the trade-off that you don't want to risk, which is labor force participation and labor supply of the parent, probably the mom. If you're a liberal economist, you're going to look at the kind of decrease in child poverty and the effect that has on the long term, which you're willing to risk labor force participation, whereas other economists are not. And I think so that's one. But two, broadly, please do not let my demeanor fool you. We don't know everything. And we still don't know most things. And that means there's just a lot left for interpretation. There's some things that we have like a pretty broad consensus on, like tariffs aren't great, but you're going to find some random economist who's now famous in the administration who will say like, they're worth it. We need it right now, because we can't predict the future. We don't know everything. And, in that gray area falls interpretation. And where there's interpretation, there's bias and preference. And we suffer from it too. We don't always talk about it, but we suffer from it too.